All right, algebra students. Mr. Peterson here. I thought I would put together a video for you guys. You guys have been at home learning this whole entire week, and I gave you guys lesson 2.2 to go through in Apex. So I thought I'd make a video to kind of review that lesson. Maybe you got stuck on it, so maybe this will help you with the concepts in 2.2. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we have here. Okay, so in Unit 2, we've been doing this process where we've been working these problems backwards. All right, last week that you guys were in with me, we were taking a look at these problems and we were working them backwards. It's really just going backwards from what we did in Unit 1. Okay, so here's a review from what happened in Unit 1. We were given two binomials like this here, and we were told to multiply them together, and we did a process called FOIL to make that happen. All right, so just to review, here's how the foiling would work. We would take x times x, x times 3, and then 2 times x, and then 2 times 3. Okay, so if we did that, x times x would get us x squared. X times positive 3 would be plus 3x. 2 times x would be plus 2x, and 2 times 3 would be plus 6. Okay, then we could combine the like terms that are here in the middle, and we would get x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, and that would be our answer. All right, that's what we did in Unit 1. We were given two binomials to multiply, and then we ended with the answer, which would be that right there. Okay, in Unit 2, it's all about working backwards. Okay, so what we're up to in Unit 2 is now we're taking, and they're giving us the answer like this right here. And now we're trying to work backwards to figure out what did it look like before all the multiplication took place. All right, so we're trying to see like what did it look like right here. Okay, and that process of doing that, we call that process of working backwards. The word for that is factoring, or we say to factor. Okay, that's our algebra language for working backwards. Okay, so let's take a look at how we would go about doing this. All right, so here's our next slide. And I want you to take a look at these FOIL steps because there's a pattern here that's really going to be helpful, going to be super helpful to getting these problems solved. Okay, so here's the problem we just worked out. All right, and take a look at this down here, this 5 and this 6. Those numbers came from this positive 2 and positive 3 being added together and multiplied together. All right, 2 times 3 got you 6. 2 plus 3 would get you 5. Okay, same with over here. Take a look. We ended up with a positive 4 and a negative 32. Okay, here's how that happened. These two numbers right here, positive 8 and negative 4, they got multiplied together to get negative 32, and they also were added together to get positive 4, because positive 8 plus negative 4 will get you positive 4. Okay, that's the key piece of information to help you work these problems backwards to do this factoring. Okay, so let's take a look at our first problem, and I'll show you how we're going to put that into practice here. All right, so here's our first problem that we're going to work out. We are told to factor x squared plus 15x plus 36. Okay, so this is the answer to something that's already been multiplied. We just want to figure out what did it look like before it got multiplied. So it's going to look something like this here. We're going to have two binomials that got multiplied together to make that answer. Okay, and both of our binomials are going to start with x. All right, and we're just trying to figure out what goes into those blanks right there to make this answer happen. Okay, and here's our key to figuring out. We need to find two numbers that multiply to give us 36 and two numbers that would also add together to get us 15. All right, so here's how we set it up. Take two blanks. You're going to have one number times another number that will make 36. And also those same two exact numbers need to add together to make 15. Okay, so now we just need to find what two numbers are going to go there to make that work. All right, so find your factors of 36. All right, you can write them all out. If you don't know what these two numbers are right away, you can write down all your factors of 36. All right, so we got 2 and 18. We have 3 and 12. And we have 4 and 9, and then 6 and 6. Okay, so there's all of our factor pairs of 36. All right, so now we just want to find what two factor pairs are going to make this work. And the ones that are going to work, if you don't see it yet, is going to be those guys right there. All right, because 3 times 12 is going to get us 36. Also, 3 plus 12 is going to get us 15. So those are the numbers that are going to go right there. All right, check it. It works. It gets both of these answers. All right, so that's what's going to go in these blanks down here. We're going to have a positive 3 and a positive 12. Okay, so here is what we're looking for. This is what the problem looked like before all the multiplying took place. If you do your FOIL to check it, you will find that it would actually equal that up there. Okay, so that's what we're up to. I got a few other examples that we'll take a look at. Okay, so here's our next one. We want to factor x squared plus 10x plus 24. All right, so the key is to figure out, take a look at your 24 and your 10. All right, positive 24, positive 10. You want to figure out what added together to get your 10, what got multiplied together to get your 24. Okay, and what happens is it's going to look like this. Two binomials ended up getting multiplied together, and we're just trying to figure out what goes here and what goes there. All right, so to multiply to get 24, we'll set up our blanks. We're going to have one number times another number to make 24, and we're going to have one number added to another number to make 10. All right, so now we just need to figure out what numbers are going to go in those spaces to get us the answers that we're looking for over here. All right, so start with finding two numbers that multiply to get 24. Okay, if you need to, if you can't figure out what it is already, you can list out your factors of 24 and then figure out which one is going to work for you. Okay, so there are all of our ways that we can multiply to get 24. All right, and the pair that's going to work to make this situation work for you is 4 and 6. Okay, because check it out. 4 times 6 will get you 24. 4 plus 6 is going to get you positive 10. Okay, perfect. So there's our two numbers. Right here would be plus 4. Right here would be plus 6. All right, this is your answer. This is what the problem looked like before all the foiling took place, before all the multiplying happened. All right, if you multiply it, you would end up with that answer right there. Okay, I got a few more examples for you. I'm going to throw some negatives in there. We'll see what that comes out to. All right, so take a look at this one here. Now we're going to factor x squared minus 13x plus 40. Okay, so here's what you're looking for again. You want to find two numbers that multiply together to get you positive 40, two numbers that add together to get you negative 13. Okay, now look at that. You got a negative to kind of work with. All right, it's still going to look like this. You're going to have x times something else and another x times something else. So two binomials getting multiplied together. We just need to figure out what goes in those blanks. Okay, we'll set up our problem the same way. We're going to have two numbers to multiply to give us positive 40. Two numbers that add together to make negative 13. Okay, so now you just got to think about this situation a little bit. Once you get some negatives in there, it's going to cause you to kind of think a little. So um, take a look at what you need. You need two numbers that are going to multiply to get you positive 40, but they also need to add to get together to make negative 13. Okay, the only way to make that happen is for both of these numbers to be negative numbers. Because if you think about it, a negative times a negative will make a positive answer. All right, and a negative plus a negative will make a negative answer. Okay, so our two numbers we come up with are going to have to be negative numbers. All right, so if we write out our factors of 40, we got 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, and then we also have 5 and 8. All right, so there's our factor pairs of 40. You want to find the ones that are going to, so they're both going to be negative, okay? So we can put negative symbols on each of them. And find the ones that would add together to get you negative 13, going to be these guys right here, negative 5 and negative 8. Put those numbers in these spaces and see if it works. Negative 5 times negative 8 is positive 40. Negative 5 and negative 8 is going to get you negative 13. All right, so there's our two numbers that are going to work. So in this space here, we're going to have negative 5 or minus 5 and minus 8. All right, there's your answer. That's what the problem looked like before all the multiplying happened. If you did your FOIL, if you check it, you would end up getting this answer up here. All right. One more problem I think to go over with you guys. Okay, so let's take a look at this one right here, same process. We're factoring, we're trying to figure out what this problem looked like in the beginning. Okay, so we have a minus 15 over here, so we want to figure out what got multiplied to make minus 15, what gets added together to make positive 2. Okay, and here's what we're going to end up with. We're going to get two binomials, just like we've been getting. And we're trying to figure out what goes into those two spaces. All right, so if we set it up, you're going to need two numbers that multiply to make negative 15. Okay, so think about that. And we need two numbers that add together to make positive 2. All right, now the only way you can get a negative when you multiply is by multiplying a positive and a negative together. All right, so one number is going to be positive, the other is going to be negative, same down here. One's going to be positive, one is going to be negative. All right, so let's take 15, find our factors of 15. There's not very many. There's 1 and 15, and then there's 3 and 5. That's it. That's all we got to work with. Okay, so take a look. One of these factors is going to be positive. One is going to be negative. You're trying to figure out how you can get them to add together to get positive 2. It's going to be negative 3 and positive 5. All right, those two, when you add them together, you would end up getting positive 2. So that's your pair of numbers you need, with the 3 being negative. So negative 3, positive 5. Check it, see if it works. 5 times negative 3 is going to get negative 15. 5 plus negative 3 is positive 2. All right, so there's your two numbers that you're going to use. So right here we got positive 5, and here we have minus 3. All right, there's your answer. This is what it looked like before all the multiplying took place. You can always check it to see if it works, and you would end up getting that for an answer. Okay, so there's some factoring, working backwards. Hopefully that helped clear some things up for you guys from 2-2. We will go over this when I see you guys next time in class. We'll practice this stuff again. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys the next week that we have algebra.